Alright, what happens when I say ID software? Well, most definitely one of the first games to pop into your mind is probably Wolfenstein 3D for the MS-DOS. Thing came out pretty much in 1992, May 5th. The game was an unbelievable hit and kind of set the, should I say, minimum standard of World War II shooters. Now, really wasn't a World War II shooter. It was like, run around in a maze and shoot everyone, but for some odd reason, everyone really liked it. Alright, so I'm not gonna argue with a truly classic game, and I'll just give it credit for what it did. I mean, I guess it did it really good. I had never played it, so. But in this review, I'm not reviewing that. I'm reviewing the newest one you can get your hands on. That is Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, which is practically the multiplayer portion of Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which is also a surprisingly popular and classic game. Now, until Wolfenstein 2 comes out, which I hear is not exactly one of the best new games coming out, most people have been settling for this because they really don't want to pay money for games and because it's got a Classics name title on it. But I played this game, and at first it seemed like it was a relatively good game. Then I got higher expectations when playing games like Combat Arms and Call of Duty, and now I come back to this, and this game looks absolutely atrocious. It's like a nightmare of a video game. Now, I'm not saying this game is absolutely worthless. I'm just saying it could have done way better, but I can understand the fact that it's not exactly the newest of games. Alright, you've been watching this video, so it's kind of obvious that this game is World War II. Yeah, we fought World War II so many times, you know, first of all, that is kind of going to bore the game if it doesn't do extraordinarily good. Alright, so you play as either two armies, Germany, or should I say the Nazis, and Americans. You fight in 6 maps, yes, 6! That is such a large number. I know, it's not really a lot of maps, but there are map packs you can download which nobody plays, and there's a lot of random custom user-available content, which gets really annoying because you can't find a server that doesn't have custom content. Alright, so the maps usually range from either a desert, a little town, or an Arctic land. But you wouldn't know that. They look just like a generic area. They don't really look incredibly detailed or have much of a historic purpose. I mean, except the Normandy landing, which doesn't even look that realistic. You really can't even point these to a historical event in World War II. The game seems to be paranoid with balancing. I mean, ignoring all the historical facts of World War II weapons, tanks, and statistical proportions of weapons. I mean, they just decided to throw all that straight out the window and decide to make the game so balanced by making every single weapon have pretty much the exact same ammo, and they wouldn't even make the countries opposite. I mean, they gave the United States soldiers a German assault rifle. I mean, come on, give them an American assault rifle. I mean, just because American assault rifle has a different number of bullets doesn't mean you have to make such a balancing issue. I mean, why don't you just give them the weapon and make the game balanced from there? I mean, you're trying to make a World War II shooter, make a good one, like Call of Duty. Alright, so already because this game is so paranoid with balance, and they already failed at that, this game is falling like a ton of bricks. But the graphics are relatively mediocre. I'm not saying they're horrible, but they're mediocre. The weapons, when you're holding them, or when you see another soldier holding them, look absolutely terrible, but the environments don't look that bad. I mean, at least you can identify the difference between a tree and a soldier, and a tank and a building. But the characters animate very awkwardly. They die in very sterile and unusual ways. I mean, like, if you shoot a guy who's laying down on the ground, he'll jump back up and then fall down. And the textures don't exactly look the best. They look like they were all done in 16-bit, no matter how high you turn it up. The sound is pretty much the same as the graphics. Half are good and half are bad. I mean, like, the tanks and the, like, ambient sounds and, like, the footsteps, they all sound relatively okay, but, like, the weapons and the tanks, they all sound like something pulled out of us, like a stock sound pack. They look just like they've already been done in so many things you've seen before. I mean, the weapons have no punch, they don't seem like they're hitting anybody, and they sound so underdone. I mean, it's like they didn't even go to record gun sounds, they just picked things up from, you know, like a CD they found or something. It's just really disgraceful for, you know, for such a high-rated game. I mean, it's such a reputable game, but they just didn't bother to do the extra work because it was free. I mean, if they did better, I mean, this game could have been like awesome. But once again, the sound just lets it down. Alright, so the graphics are mediocre, and the sound is not exactly the best thing you ever heard, and the gameplay is simply obsessed with balancing, but they utterly failed that. So, why did I say this game isn't horrible? Well, despite the fact that the game isn't exactly the most balanced, which is what helps make a game fair and actually fun, the game will just kind of keep you tugging and make you want to play. I don't know what exactly is it. I think it's the fact knowing you're playing Wolfenstein, and it's not truly a bad game at heart. I mean, it's like driving a rusty Corvette. I mean, the body's all scratched, the car's all broken, it's making funny sounds, but you know you're driving a piece of important history to America. You get the thrill of playing it, and that's like the same as Wolfenstein. It'll give you a thrill of playing a game that you know millions of other people have applauded and given so much credit to, but it doesn't feel like creators really gave it that much effort. So in the end, I'm truly sorry, Wolfenstein just doesn't deserve the room it takes up on my hard drive. Wolfenstein gets a mediocre 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, yeah!